When I was considering this morning, I had a plethora of things come up to potentially speak about. And the one thing that kept, so we'll see, but the one thing that kept coming through was to take a moment to talk about that which may be referred to as the absolute nature. We can only talk about it. That is why in Advaita Vedanta, they refer to it as that. Maharaj says, I am that. So it is that which is unspeakable, ineffable, and is the basis of all knowledge. One could not have any self-knowledge or knowledge of anything whatsoever without that. And that can be referred to as, many refer to as God, Buddha nature, etc., etc. It will never be known by the thinking mind. It will never be known through thought. It is recognized, which is why they say you have to go through the consciousness. Maharaj says, this I amness appeared spontaneously, and then the riddle of conceptual consciousness and what is to be solved, the riddle of consciousness. The only purpose for any spiritual teaching, for all Dharma, is to discern and understand the riddle of consciousness, the appearances, the conceptual mind, and most importantly, the sense of an identity as a separate, bound body, mind, I, that is simply a case of mistaken identity. And it misidentifies constantly through the conceptual mind. And I had a little chuckle because I went, wow. Well, I'd said this, I think, to Rob the other day. I was like, yeah, awakening is all fun and games until somebody loses an eye. until you start to see the dissolution of this. And there is a beauty and a relaxation in knowing that will not be attained by the conceptual mind. To leave it for even moments in the buoyancy of the unknown is to live in the mystery. There's a mystery there. And that mystery, or that unknown, is revealed through the discernment and the knowing of that which is illusory, which is transient, which is impermanent, and knowing and understanding the nature of that. And in abiding, which is why they keep saying, you must go through the consciousness. Like I said, I remember my very first question to Jean Dunn when I met her, which is the same time I met Alan, was, what is the difference between consciousness and the absolute? She told me the answer, and I have no idea what it was. Because it stopped my mind immediately. Because of the potency of the transmission of that, which is non-dual. It is beyond a subject-object duality. There is no subject-object in that. So where non-duality teachings can potentially go awry is when somebody simply covers over with the intellect, oh, right. Yeah, no, it's all that, and it's all non-dual. That is just the movement of the intellect. That non-dual realization and that non-dual recognition is actualized through the penetrating and discernment of duality itself. Like Natone had written a teaching on a notepad in her hand, very, very close to when she passed. And it was about Dzogchen. And she wrote, Dzogchen is not a practice. Dzogchen is the discernment of the true nature of phenomena. That's the practice. And that's what all those practices are for. And this is what all the Dharma is for. So in this constancy and the recognition, so it is twofold as it is. The constancy of the recognition or this abiding in this, as this, in this I amness, that which is prior and is recognizing experience is the means to which understand and observe the dynamics of phenomena, conceptual thought, and everything that is arising in the appearance of this objective world, the world. So it is this which is illuminating this. And in a retreat one time, Natone had said, and what is the status of this consciousness? What is this? What is the nature of this? Because when the understanding of the misperception of identity or the misperception of what one is, when those moorings are loosened and simply understood as for what they are, you cease to imagine. And then the self stands forth in all its glory. And the power and the expression of that nature is love. Unconditioned, non-dual presence of love. The self-illuminating presence. and it's divine. And it illuminates all that is not of itself. It is this which illuminates the unreality and the passing and the changing. You've got to exactly seize, you've got to seize your, it's literally like, that's why I always say, even the mind and the mental aspect getting a bad rap. Oh, hell no, that's here. That's part of the discernment, that the capacity of the mental acuity to discern, that's a beautiful thing. And that's that's an incredible thing. And that is what's to be cultivated. See, it's like, because he said, when Maharaj says to understand what you are, you must first wonder and understand what you are not.
Or not.
And it's not like, oh, and the importance of that one is because he's even said, well, no, I'm saying, it's not even like, oh, this is non-existent, or no, this isn't real. It's not a conceptual thing about it. It's when literally you understand it. It's literally through when you go, oh, and you understand your own mechanism. That's the freedom. When you, and the suffering's always the key. The suffering is always the mental suffering and looping. Conceptual looping is always a key to know that there is something awry. That's like when you have your own one fixation, boom, a little trigger, and then choom, choom, choom. There you go. There you go. There you go. And those are the things where you go, oh, okay, there's a line where it says, grant your blessing, banish the errors of the ordinary mind. Banish the errors of the ordinary mind. And so what banishes those errors is this awareness of them